Alrighty, welcome home. I'm your anime manga mom, and thanks for coming back. It's great to see you. Today, I'm going to be talking about backstories because that's what most of my free time has been doing lately. I like to mostly create stories in my head, but sometimes I actually write them down. Usually, I like to go over characters' backstories to kind of, set up the groundwork for why they act a certain way. What was their motivation? Maybe their dad was, expected perfection from them, or maybe they were left to figure things out on their own. Maybe they had very loving and caring and supportive parents. Maybe they had brothers, sisters, friends that betrayed them. Maybe, there are so many things that can happen to develop a character. That's one of my favorite things about anime. And one of the things that sold me on watching anime is because even these villains that you're like, man, I just want to see the protagonist make short work of them. You want them gone, you want them murked, you want them out of the line of sight. But then you see the backstory, and you're like, you know what? You had it rough. Like, I want good things for you. Maybe not the direction you're heading, but I want to make things right in your life. And of course, we can't always do that. We can't always do that even in stories. Stories have to have a villain. Or maybe they don't. Do you have any great stories with great character arcs? I guess romance enemies. They don't always have a villain, and those are fantastic stories. And oftentimes, even the one that is set up as the rival or the foil, the antagonist, once you see their backstory, you're like, oh, that's why you're doing that. That's why you need that kind of attention. That's what you're going for. And then you're like, okay, now let's heal from this and move on. Now that we know what's causing all of this, we can forgive some of your past behavior, just learn from it and move on. And oftentimes, even the villain of the story arc, once we see their backstory, we are much more sympathetic to them. And I think in real life, the same would occur. If you knew what caused your, elementary school bully to act the way that they did, maybe you wouldn't hold it against them anymore. Maybe, if you realized what caused your coworkers to act a certain way, or, that kid that sits down from you in English, you might say, oh, I see your backstory. Actually, I think we could be great friends if we, focus on our commonalities, help each other out. And I think those are great lessons. And so I think backstories are vitally important. It helps you care more about the main characters so that you want to see them succeed. You root for them. If you didn't know why somebody was doing something, what made it important to them, then it wouldn't really be as interesting to watch, You want the character that you understand where they're coming from, even if it's not you, even if that's not how you would take that information, Anyways, those are my thoughts. Been writing a lot of backstories for characters that may or may not ever appear in anything that I start to write and then leave off, because that's actually how it usually goes. I usually start a story and never quite come to completion. Because I think building the story is way more fun, And if it's just something that I do to relieve stress or explore different lives that I wouldn't have necessarily, I actually have been having a lot of fun writing more the I guess from like a guy's perspective, because I have, girls and guys usually in my stories. It's just really fun to put yourself in somebody else's shoes for a little while. I think one of my absolute favorite holidays is Halloween. Of course, I'm in the United States, and Halloween was always something that we did as kids. dress up, usually as your favorite character. A lot of people, they go for the really scary stuff. I always lean toward vampires. I love vampires. But I love being able to go all out and dress up, like, be somebody else for the day. That's why, when I got into anime and I saw cosplay was a thing, I was like, oh, heck yeah. Except now that I'm a bit aged out of that and sized out of most of it too. But yeah, you don't want to see somebody my age dressing up as, I guess, whatever the popular character of the moment is. But and they have some great older men characters. I'll have to think of some older female characters, like a mentor, or maybe there aren't really a lot of good mother figures in anime, but I suppose that's not what it's really about, and that's okay. I usually look more for personality type when I connect with characters, and I'm so into the moe. Well, that's a new one that I learned. I guess it's like parasocial relationships, or when you go for fictional character, or I guess parasocial would be like if you had a crush on a influencer or something like that. But no, I really could see being great friends with some of these people. Like we were having a quiz driving home from shopping with my son, and we were talking about character personality types and who you would be friends with, and we were going over Tokyo Ghoul, and he's like, how about the guy who makes the masks? And I'm like, oh, you mean Uta? And I was like, yeah, I think we would have been great friends in high school. And I don't know, I probably I would like Toka. I think that if she was mean to me at first, I would have a bad impression of her, and since I'm a little more on the sensitive side, I probably would have stayed away from her, because I thought, she definitely doesn't like me. Backstories are very important, and I really love the anime is so character driven, because usually they don't write something just for the lulz, and if they do, they try and make it match the characters that they're designed for, so I really appreciate that, because it makes it more believable. It makes it more of a world that you can travel to in your mind, and completely turn off the whole "this isn't real" quality to it. And I have a pretty good gift for that. I love sci-fi. I always have. It used to be my favorite genre, but I think action has climbed above that, or at least is neck and neck anymore. Usually they put in a lot more work in action movies than they do with sci-fi ones, and sci-fi is either hit or miss. Either it's so low budget that it's not really worth watching, or they go the horror lean, which I don't really care for horror. It doesn't seem to have a plot, and if it does, it breaks it. It breaks the fourth wall. It's just it's not that I can't suspend reality to watch it. It's that it goes nowhere. It makes no sense. It's just to scare you. And no, horror's just not my thing. And if anime leans that way, well, all the horror anime I've liked that I've watched, they definitely put more of an emphasis on plot, and it's more of a psychological thriller type than a horror specifically. Because I don't know, I have an opinion that horror is just for the scares, just for the jump factor, just to disrupt your sleep patterns. But it doesn't really have a moral. It doesn't really have a plot to it, a lesson, anything like that. But usually in anime, even if it's a more scary themed, which I don't mind that it usually still has a point to it. So anyway, those are my anime thoughts this week. Hopefully I didn't rot your brain. You will come back and see me. I can't wait to see you. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.